played Trivial
Notice
Pursuit.
they aren't.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We played Trivial Pursuit the other night and realized how not smart we were. There were some hard questions.
Hey, love.
Where are you going?
Hey, love.
Uh-huh. He's just trying to get out of the filming.
Yeah, but he's got things to do downstairs.
No.
That's it. You specialize in making funny faces in pictures.
I do. I work on it.
We need to sign for Christmas 98. Or what? No, what is it? 2000? Christmas 2000?
Yeah, it's a big one.
We need to sign.
Focus on what we spent most of the day on.
Yeah, we made
The
that.
saucer, the super saucer.
Yeah. Do you want me to get in it and demonstrate it?
Yeah.
That'd be a good
You
one.
can. Be a little bit bigger, and
Now our
we
main,
need one that's a
Now
little
that
bigger.
one stays put.
our
It
main
doesn't
star
have the
Charlie
kind
is sleeping.
They had years ago that had
We didn't
wheels
have
that
him last
didn't go all.
I know, but you know,
I know, this
they
is his
don't
first
really
Christmas.
sell those anymore because they've had a lot of injuries.
Oh.
I did see one, but they've had a lot of injuries, kids falling down the stairs or
In what?
because they roll the walkers.
Oh.
You know, they used to make them where they have
This-
wheels.
Yeah.
This thing's getting old.
You know, when they first moved to Durham, they lived at an upstairs apartment, and it had stairs on the outside.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that, Sarah? You and Andrew?
Not
Yeah.
their house?
And there was a
Their house.
I
kind of a
remember that.
little, you opened the door and there was a little platform, and then from that you went down.
But it wasn't an apartment, it was a whole house.
Well, but you're on the second floor.
1810 Glendale?
we lived upstairs, but the laundry and the playroom was downstairs.
Oh, all I knew is that when I was there, I was seeing every one of them fall down those
This is
stairs.
Hirschman family
You know what
conversation.
fell down the stairs?
Hirschman family conversation.
Don't
This is
tell
what
me
really
Charles.
happens
The
at Christmas.
refrigerator.
Oh.
The man who brought this refrigerator, the refrigerator fell down those stairs, and I thought sure he was going to be killed, but right at the last minute he jumped over the rail.
Oh.
Oh, it's awful. Oh, Andrew, are you filming really again now?
Yeah.
And me waving my knife?
This is Christmas 2000.
Blowing my nose.
Christmas 2000.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
How old were the kids then? Because Sarah doesn't remember.
Sarah wasn't born.
Oh,
We
you
lived
weren't? How come?
We lived
I
in
thought I was worried about both of you.
we lived in that house, and what?
Dad unplugged it.
We lived in that house.
What did you unplug it?
Plug it on TV or something.
Then we went to Malaysia.
Hey, look at this. This is our new Christmas TV.
And then
Look at that
when we
thing.
came back from Malaysia, Sarah was born
It's
in
got
Malaysia. When we
VHS.
came back from Malaysia, we
Look at
lived
all those
on
things
that
it has
other
on
house.
it.
Oh. Well, that was
Andrew wasn't. Sarah wasn't born then.
It's got an alarm clock. Clock stuff.
Oh, I see. He unplugged the Christmas tree and that, huh?
Yeah, these are Christmas tree.
Oh wow. We can't have Christmas without the Christmas tree, can we?
Is it
That's allowed.
more like Andrew? And in those days, our Christmas shopping was the last minute. Now, I'm through with my Christmas shopping a month ahead of time.
All right.
And anything that you bought then had to be assembled. And they didn't, the directions then were directions now, I guess. Which, it's like going from New York to Brooklyn by way of San Francisco.
Okay.
Oh, I think you get it here.
Okay, yeah.
Now I have to ask you these questions. What is the holiday season that you remember the best?
Boy, let me think about that one for a minute.
Okay. If there's any holiday season, it says, did you receive any greatly desired toy, even when you were younger, or something that you remember?
No, I can tell you
Well, like on Thanksgiving.
the best Christmas I think that I ever had was 1937. Yeah, we were married on October 31st, and that was our first Christmas. And
That was your
Gertrude was
first
working,
Christmas. Uh-huh.
and so was I, but I got off early. And we didn't have a lot of money or anything. Nobody had a lot of money, anything. And we had a Christmas tree about that big. We bought it, it was all trimmed, and it was put there. And I don't know, Gertrude had a couple of things for me, and I had a couple of things for her. And that was it.
Can you hear Grandpa on that thing?
Well, I don't know.
Well,
I'm
then
sure
you
you-
should be closer.
Well, no, that's fine. I mean, you can hear. I'm
Well,
sure.
I want you to hear good. I don't want to have to strain to hear him. Okay, then let's see the next one. When and where were you born?
Mansfield, Louisiana, July the 25th, 1911.
Okay, very good. You answered that correctly. You get bonus points for that. Okay, but is it in a hospital or at your home?
At home, there were no hospitals down there.
There were no hospitals?
No, it was a little dirt village. My father had a jewelry store there, and the streets were dirt. Both my mother and my father mentioned that.
So the streets were dirt? So you were born at home there.
A doctor delivered you?
I don't remember.
Where were you in the family? Were you the oldest, middle, youngest?
I was the second oldest.
Second oldest. Out of how many?
4.
4. Okay. School days. What did you wear to school? Was there a uniform or a dress code?
No, and now I'm going into this little detail.
We're interviewing Grandpa.
Right. In those days when you went to school, and I'm talking about up to junior high school, which meant that you were
13.
you wore shoes and stockings and knickers.
Ah.
And when you got into long pants, which you had to be 14 or 15 years old, that was just like graduating from college.
When you got to
Yeah,
wear long
yeah,
pants.
but there were knickers and black stockings and shoes and stuff like that.
So that was
We
that
were
like
children.
was that like a uniform you had to wear?
No,
Like-
no. We were children.
Yeah, that's what you
And we
wore.
were children until we were 12, 13, 14 years old.
And then you got long pants.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite teacher in school or a favorite subject?
I had a favorite teacher, unfortunately. I don't remember her name, but the favorite subject was history.
History.
Mhm.
You enjoyed that. What kind of games did you play?
Hopscotch, hide and seek, crack the whip, mumbly peg. None of them exist anymore.
No.
Do you know what mumbly peg is, Sarah?
No.
I have Grandpa explain what mumbly peg is.
How do you play mumbly peg?
You use a knife, and it's in your hand, and you have to flip it up, and it goes up and sticks in the ground. And you do it this way, and this way, and then this way, and then you flip it over your head, and you flip it back, and then you flip it like this, and then you flip it like this, and you stick it in the ground and hit it, and it has to roll 3 times and stick in the ground.
Huh.
Most boys eventually went through it without a miss.
Oh.
And by the way, marbles was a big game in those days too.
Marbles. Did people get cut playing that game with a knife?
No,
No, it wasn't.
we were smart. A lot
Yeah.
smarter than kids today.
What kind of music and dances do you remember?
Mostly foxtrot.
Foxtrot.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is your teen years. When were you allowed to date?
There wasn't an allowance. It was a normal, perfectly normal thing, to tell you the truth. I'll tell you what, though, my particular group, we had dancing lessons. And it was at our house, and we had a regular instructor, and there was about half a dozen girls and half a dozen fellows. And we were taught the unpardonable sin was when a dance was over, you did not leave a girl in the middle of the floor. You walked her off of the floor to where she wanted to be, with her friends or sat down or whatever.
Oh, you have to ask her. Oh, that's
You're
good.
talking about a generation.
Yeah. What were the rules or restrictions in your family? Did your family have any rules?
I don't know what they were, but whatever they were, if you broke them, you knew it.
There were consequences, huh?
Yeah.
Did you work or get an allowance?
Never got an allowance. They doled it out when we asked, and sometimes we got it and sometimes we didn't. And for work, yes, I sold newspapers on the street in those days. And for present day information, they were 2 cents. We made a penny on each newspaper, and I would sell about 15 to 20 a day.
So you
And
make
20 cents was a lot of money.
you'd make half the profit then, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. 50%.
Probably more than you make today.
The byproduct.
Let's see, religious traditions. Describe your early religious training.
This, I'm Jewish, and you have heard about before. In those days, the United States was a great American melting pot, and everybody wanted to be like everybody else. So I was not Orthodox, it was Reformed, and the Reformed temple had very, very little Jewish character. It was much more like the Protestant church. And there was a little Hebrew and a little teaching, but my son can tell you today that I know very, very little about Judaism or history or Hebrew or anything like that.
Because they were trying to teach you to assimilate?
That's right.
Yeah. How did your family observe holidays in your day?
Sporadically.
When you had the money to?
That's true. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, yeah. That's, they both went. But the other holidays came and got, we paid no attention to them.
How did your family spend summers?
Vacation for school, that was all. In those days, the children amused themselves. We didn't have ball fields and we didn't have any of the things that you've got today.
Did the family go anywhere special each year or attend any family reunions?
No.
No, didn't go anywhere?
No.
Animals and pets. Were you allowed to have any pets?
Yep.
What
Dogs and cats.
Dogs.
And my grandfather was Pony, and the pony was Dan Patch. And incidentally, Dan Patch was a famous, very famous pony. And the one we had that had that name, but he was just an ordinary animal.
You had a pony, huh? My goodness.
Given to us by my grandfather.
And how long did you keep that?
That pony?
Yeah.
Around about 6 or 8 months. I think probably got it very, very early in the spring. And by the time winter got through, again, sure, we didn't have a barn or anything like that. You probably got rid of it. We lived in the middle of a city.
What did they name your? Oh, that was we just answered that.
Ask about the dogs and cats.
Oh, what did they name your first or favorite pets? Your dogs and cats.
I don't remember.
You remember any names?
I don't
Your
remember.
first.
Maybe. From this whole questionnaire, you should know
Uh-huh.
that you're going back over 80 years.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's part of this, what you're talking about.
I know. It says, did you serve in the military?
Yeah,
Which branch?
infantry.
And where were you stationed? Did you
Europe.
Yes. And did you serve overseas? So yes. Do you remember ration books?
Yeah. Everybody had those.
What were they?
Well, with the ration books, you've got meat and sugar and salt and everything else. Everything was rationed. And you had to save all of the fat. But you had, any fat at all you had to save and turn in. And also gasoline and oil, but mostly gasoline. And there was a black marker on that that'll curl your hair.
Where were you on Armistice Day, VE Day, or VJ Day?
I'm trying to think about the VE Day. I'm not real sure on that. We went to Munich, and we went through a whole bunch of places. I know that after the VE Day, we were, I think it was Camp Lucky Strike. I'm not sure if that thing, but all of the camps that they were going to get back to the United States, there were various camps. And the camp that I was in, I think was Lucky Strike, but it could have been Old Gold or Chesterfield or whatever.
That's what you remember, though. Where were you when John F. Kennedy was assassinated?
That is easy. That is very easy. Charles, what was the name, what was the name of the restaurant that we were in? We were on our way to Mike's wedding, but I can't, what was the name of it? Your memory should be.
I don't remember either, but it was something like a Wendy's or
Yeah,
it was a
but
it was a family
it was a little
restaurant.
higher class. We were sitting, we went in there and we sat there and we were eating. And the waitress began crying. And everybody was up in the air and we asked, and could it have been assassinated? And we were on our way to my oldest son's wedding.
So Mike's wedding. What was your first, favorite, and toughest job? What was your first job? Selling newspapers.
That was the first, yeah. I worked for an insurance agent, and the insurance agent had, he sold insurance, and I went around and collecting the money for it, because in those days, people paid quarter, 50 cents, or something like that. And it was a lousy job.
What was your favorite job?
Newspaper.
Newspaper.
Yeah. No argument.
What was your toughest job?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I was a shipping clerk at a chain of shoe stores. And I had to be to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I never got off before 7 o'clock in the evening. And that was 6 days a week, except for one day. And that one day was Monday. And Monday was from 8 in the morning until midnight, because they had to shift popular sizes against unpopular sizes from one store to another. So we had 26 stores, and they would put, from store 3, they would put one size and one kind, and from 9 to another store. I guess that was it.
Yeah.
That was hours and hours, and that was 80, maybe 70, 80 hours a week. $16 a week, incidentally.
That's the next question. How much were you paid?
I started at 12 or 13, but I was promoted to chicken cook, got 16.
16 a week. And in
So that was about 25 cents an hour.
It had to come down to about a dime an hour when I finally got through.
you worked 70 or 80 hours. What kind of hours did you work? It says that. Courtship and marriage. How and when did you meet your spouse?
Now that's one you're gonna like. That's the one you're gonna like. I was at the boy's name, these I can remember pretty good. His name was Irv Hollinger, and he had a fetish. And the fetish was on nurses. And I was at a Jewish dance, incidentally, and he says, well, I want you to meet some people. So we went over, and Gertrude and her husband, Dad, they were married.
You mean Aunt Catherine?
And Catherine, yeah. And I met Gertrude. And we played Monopoly that night. And Gertrude won me, I forgot what it was, but it was one of the things in there that you won something. And I was what she won. She'll never forget it. Yeah.
When and how did you decide to get married?
I don't even want to go into it. It was a long, difficult, arduous decision. Really, it was not an easy decision on either one of our parts.
Is that because you were from different faiths?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the family's reaction? I guess that's part of it.
So we moved out of the city and out of the state until they became reconciled to it. And that took a few days.
But you had to run.
No, that's right, we did. Yeah. I went to Atlanta and got a job, and about 6 weeks later, Gertrude came down and we got married.
It says when and
And I
where.
could have led her astray, believe me.
It says when and where did you get married?
Atlanta, Georgia. And when? We were married twice, but the first one was October 31st.
1937.
Mhm.
Where was it at? The courthouse?
No, it was at a neutral church.
Was it a big wedding?
No,
Um,
I think they picked a couple waitresses off the street, as I recall.
what was going on in the world during the early days of your marriage?
War.
War.
A depression, of course, and war.
What did your first apartment or home look like?
It was a one-bedroom apartment, and off in the corner, it had a little heating stove and a refrigerator that you had to put ice in the tub. And I think that must have cost $20 a month.
How much did it cost?
Is that the one that you had the fire in?
No, that was another one.
$20 a month.
And both Gertrude and I were employed at the time, and there was a man who drove into Atlanta within, just Gertrude was working at Grady Hospital, and I was working in this insurance office. And it was a short distance to both of them, and I've forgotten how it got hold.
Was it furnished or did you inherit furniture from your
It
family?
was furnished.
It was furnished. When and where were your children born?
Mike and Charles both, of course, were born in Atlanta, Georgia. Kay was born in Marion, Ohio. Yes, it was Kay. And Marcia in Columbus, Ohio.
How did you pick their names?
That's Gertrude.
Gertrude.
I think that Mike, I'm sure, because that was Gertrude's father. Charles, I think they just thought that was a big deal. I don't know. And both Marcia and Kay, I think Gertrude liked them both, and I liked them.
The names. But Gertrude really picked them. The names.
Well, this is quite a bunch of questions, if maybe I should ask you.
I'm almost done. Well,
Yeah,
it says divorce, but you never got divorced. Adoption and remarriage, you never did any of those.
No.
Oh, that's it. You passed.
I'm glad to hear that.
You passed. Thanks, Grandpa.
That's a window on the future, I think, for you. Or the past, rather.
Does anybody else have any questions for Grandpa? Now you got him in the hot seat.
Did you get my first question on there?
Which one?
Remember I said how was Christmas in 1950?
Oh, yeah, I did.
What? There's no questions.
Yeah.
As I was gonna say, Grandpa, I think your turn, you can ask her some questions.